Did you put snacks in here?
Yeah. You guys want to get out here and hit some?
Hit it hard. We're here.
You guys look like you're literally about to play basketball.
Breaking news that has Indiana Fever fans absolutely losing their minds right now. Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull have just made it crystal clear they want to run it back with Caitlin Clark and the Fever next season. And honestly, after everything we've seen over the past few weeks, this reunion is basically a done deal. The chemistry? Unmatched. The timing? Perfect. The drama surrounding all of this? Let me tell you, it goes way deeper than you think, and what's happening behind the scenes with the CBA negotiations is about to change everything for women's basketball. Buckle up, because this story has more twists than a playoff game. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why Sophie and Lexie aren't going anywhere. So let's set the scene here. Recently, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull showed up as caddies for Caitlin Clark at a golf tournament, and the internet absolutely exploded. Like, we're talking thousands of fans showing up just to watch Caitlin play golf, not even basketball. And there's Sophie and Lexie decked out in full Fever gear, supporting their teammate like the ultimate hype squad. The photos were everywhere. The vibes were immaculate. And everyone started asking the same question. Are they coming back next season, or what? Well, here's where things get interesting, because both Sophie and Lexie have been giving the exact same answer every single time they're asked. And that answer is, it depends on the CBA negotiations.
This is making me nervous.
Cunningham!
Yeah, guys, come on!
Yeah! Let's go!
Oh, is that bad?
Is that bad?
No.
That's good.
Oh no, oh no.
You got it, girl.
Happy Gilmore.
Man down! Man down! He's down!
I'm so sorry.
Lexie Hull! Show Caitlin how it's done. Fuck that thing.
Don't hit anyone, Lexie.
I'll try not to, thank you.
Don't break my driver now.
Yep.
It's important.
Now, before you think this is just some boring contract talk, let me stop you right there, because this CBA situation is actually insane, and it's affecting literally every single decision being made in the WNBA right now. But we'll get to that drama in a minute. First, let's talk about why Sophie and Lexie coming back actually matters beyond just cute friendship moments and off-court bonding. Because trust me, this is about way more than vibes. See, here's the thing. Both Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull bring legitimate basketball skills to the table. This isn't just about keeping the squad together for Instagram content. Lexie Hull brings this unteachable energy to the court that every championship team needs. She's a glue player with strong shooting ability and excellent off-ball movement. She's the kind of player who does all the little things that don't show up in the stat sheet but make a massive difference in winning games. And Sophie Cunningham is an elite outside shooter with ball handling capability and versatility that opens up the entire floor. Are they superstars like Aaliyah Boston or Kelsey Mitchell? No.
Back in Indianapolis next season. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance around Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull serving as Caitlin Clark's caddies during that golf event. It shows you the rapport, the chemistry, not to mention that those two can play, right? Lexie Hull has that energy you just can't teach, can shoot the ball, moves without the ball, a glue type of player. Same thing with Sophie in a sense.
But they're core depth pieces. And when you're building a championship roster, these are the players you absolutely cannot afford to lose. And here's what makes this whole situation even more crucial. The The personal relationships these players have with Caitlin Clark directly enhance team chemistry, and chemistry translates to on-court performance. This isn't some feel-good narrative we're making up. Players who genuinely like each other, who spend time together off the court, who have each other's backs. They play better together. Period. The golf tournament wasn't just a fun publicity stunt. It was a showcase of the genuine rapport between these three players, and the Indiana Fever front office absolutely recognizes how important this chemistry is. Now, Sophie and Lexie aren't naive. They understand exactly how their association with Caitlin Clark benefits them. Playing alongside one of women's basketball's biggest stars, arguably the biggest star right now, elevates everyone's profile. Sophie especially has seen her stock rise dramatically from being Caitlin's teammate, and she's smart enough to recognize and understand this value. When you're playing next to a generational talent who's bringing sold-out arenas, national TV games, and unprecedented attention to the league, that creates opportunities for everyone around her. Endorsement deals, social media growth, career longevity. All of it flows from being part of a winning team built around a superstar. So when Sophie was asked about Caitlin at the golf event, her response was telling. She said Caitlin elevates everyone around her, that she's a generational player everyone recognizes, and that the team gets to see Caitlin's goofy side that the public doesn't always witness. But then came the key qualifier that everyone's been analyzing, depending on the CBA and what's going on. Hopefully we're all together again. That phrase, depending on the CBA, has become Sophie's stock answer to every question about returning, and there's actually a really smart strategic reason for that. See, Sophie's not directly stating whether she personally wants to return. Instead, she's framing everything around whether there will even be a season. And honestly, that's genius. The CBA negotiations are complicated with genuinely uncertain outcomes, and nobody knows exactly how these negotiations are going to resolve. When Sophie was asked directly about the likelihood of returning next year, she said,
their association with Caitlin Clark helps them as well. So assuming all things get worked out the way one could see things getting worked out based on the past, both Sophie Cunningham
in touch, but there's not much to talk about until there's a CBA. Now, that might sound awkward or evasive, but it's actually completely practical because here's the reality. Until the CBA is finalized, teams literally cannot make official moves. They can't sign contracts during negotiations. There's actually nothing to discuss regarding contract situations right now. Sophie mentioned the last CBA meeting was about 2 weeks ago, and she's not sure exactly where things stand currently, but that players are standing strong for what they want. And what they want is better pay, better working conditions, better everything across the board. Meanwhile, the league has budget constraints and organizational concerns, and finding middle ground is taking significant time. These are ongoing and potentially contentious negotiations where both sides are digging in. But here's where things get really complicated. There's this thing called Project B making headlines, and Sophie was asked about it directly. Her response, if people are going to pay you multi-million-dollar deals, why wouldn't you consider it? And honestly, that's a completely reasonable, rational position. Players have short careers. They need to maximize earnings while they can. If another league offers more money, it's hard to blame anyone for listening. This is just business. But here's the thing about Project B. It appears to target players closer to the end of their careers, players who want to get paid before retirement. It's fighting back against Saudi-backed leagues poaching talent. Why would Caitlin Clark joining Project B be absolutely stunning? Because her financial situation is already strong. She's early in her career, makes good money through endorsements, and her WNBA contract will only improve as she progresses. She doesn't need Project B. Meanwhile, there's also the unrivaled league targeting younger players on the rise, focusing on players coming from college. offering additional competition and income opportunities. That league has already signed several big names and has real momentum. All of these alternative leagues are emerging during ongoing CBA negotiations, which complicates everything. You've got players in executive roles who are also playing for or affiliated with other leagues, creating conflicts of interest throughout the situation. Everyone's trying to maximize their personal situation while also negotiating for the collective good of all WNBA players. It's an extremely complicated dynamic. But here's the key thing people need to understand. Sophie's Project B comments should not be interpreted as her signaling she's leaving the WNBA or the Fever. She's simply stating she won't judge anyone for taking opportunities, and she's clearly not making any commitments until the paperwork is completed and the CBA situation is resolved. This is the smart strategic move. Don't commit until you know all your options. And actually, things being quiet recently on the CBA front is probably a positive sign. When both sides are complaining loudly in the media, negotiations aren't going well. Quiet suggests actual progress. It indicates both sides are trying to get a deal done. The draft lottery is scheduled for November 23rd, and the league is moving forward with normal business operations, which is another good sign of progress. So let's cut through all the noise and get to the bottom line here. Barring dramatic circumstances like a lockout canceling the season or a radically different CBA structure making roster retention impossible, there is basically no chance Sophie and Lexie aren't back with the Fever. And here's why I'm so confident about this. Lexie Hull is a restricted free agent, which means the Fever can match any offer she receives from another team. Unless some team offers absurd money the Fever can't or won't match, she's coming back. It's that simple. Sophie's position is even more obvious when you think about it strategically. She has clearly benefited from playing next to Caitlin Clark. Her profile has risen. Her game has improved from playing with elite talent. Indianapolis is a good situation for her, and she's not naive. She understands the value of staying with a rising team and playing with the best young player in the league. Why would she walk away from that? And let's talk about the elephant in the room, Caitlin Clark, the franchise. She's the reason fans show up. The reason games are on national TV. The reason the Fever went from irrelevant to the most talked about team in the league. If Caitlin wants Sophie and Lexie back, they're coming back. The front office isn't going to ignore what she wants, assuming it's financially possible. The Fever social media team clearly understands this too. They posted photos from the golf event with a caption about best caddies featuring Caitlin, Sophie, and Lexie having a good time in Fever gear. This is not accidental. They're reinforcing the narrative that these three belong together, positioning this as the core they're building around. And can we talk about the self-awareness Sophie and Lexie showed by agreeing to be caddies? They showed up in Fever gear, supported their teammate, and did it all with good humor. That takes understanding of how things work. They know Caitlin is the star. They know the team revolves around her, and they're completely fine with that. They're comfortable in supporting player roles, and this self-awareness is crucial for team building. Not everyone can be the star. Most players must accept complementary roles, and that requires maturity and character. The Fever have prioritized bringing in high-character players, and it shows in how this roster functions together. But beyond the chemistry, let's not forget, Sophie and Lexie provide real on-court value. Both can shoot effectively, which is crucial when playing next to a point guard like Caitlin, who creates open looks. They understand how to play off the ball, know how to make the right cuts and movements. Imagine a death lineup with Caitlin, Sophie, Lexie, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. For shooters around Aaliyah, with Caitlin creating and everyone else spacing the floor, that's a nightmare to defend. And the chemistry between these players matters. They've spent time together on and off court, understand each other's tendencies, know how to communicate effectively, and have built trust over time. You can't just recreate this by signing new players. Chemistry takes time to develop, and the Fever already have it with this core group. The golf tournament was actually a smart move by all three players. It kept them in the public eye during the off-season, reinforced their connection as teammates, showed they're having fun together, and helped maintain fan interest when no games are being played. Hundreds or thousands of fans showed up to watch Caitlin play golf, many wearing Fever jerseys. That shows the level of investment in this team. People want to see this core group run it back next season with everyone healthy. They want to see what this team can do without constant injuries, because let's not forget, when Sophie was asked what was missing last season, her answer was simple: health. If the team had stayed healthy, she believes they would have won the championship. And honestly, that assessment is probably accurate. The Fever front office understands all of this. They're not going to mess up a good thing by letting Sophie or Lexie walk over resolvable contract issues. They know what they have. They know the chemistry is real. They know this core can win if healthy. Bringing everyone back should be the priority, and everything suggests that's exactly what will happen. The only variable here is the CBA. If negotiations fall apart and there's a lockout, all bets are off. If the new CBA structure somehow makes it financially impossible to keep everyone, that's a problem. But assuming a deal gets done and the structure is similar to the current system, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull will be back in Indianapolis wearing Fever uniforms next season. So there you have it. Sophie and Lexie are almost definitely coming back. The chemistry is there. The value is there. Everyone involved wants it to happen. The only question is whether CBA negotiations mess everything up, but all signs point to progress being made. This Fever core is staying together, and next season is going to be absolutely insane. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates on the Fever's off-season moves, because this is just the beginning of what's about to be an incredible run for this team. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.